এই বস্তু যদি একটা করবো ইন্ডিয়ান লাইন কোনো বিল রয়েছে প্রফেসর এসে দোয়া না এটা দিলে তো কোয়া তুমি এখন কি বলছো এটা আপনার কাছে তো যেই সুন্দর দিয়ে করবো তো কি জানেন একটু পড়া দিয়ে করবো Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
There is little problem with the network. Sorry. Is the slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before going to this topic, ligamentum nuchae, so today we'll first discuss about the ligaments of the head and neck. Somebody is, you just make it mute, his sound is coming. So, in the head and neck, you will find that, so in the general topic is ligaments of the head and neck. So in the head and neck, you will find broadly two types of ligament. One is called as short ligaments, another is the long ligament. So short ligaments are almost similar in all the species. Clear? Short and the long ligament. Short ligaments, okay? So you will find that there are three types of short ligaments. One is called as interarcuate ligaments. Another is called as interspinous ligaments. And third category is called as the intertransverse ligaments. Okay. So interarcuate ligament means interarcuate. You know the arches of the vertebra. Okay. Arches of the vertebra. So these ligaments are interarcuate ligaments. They connect between the arches of the adjacent vertebra. Between the arches of the vertebra. This ligament is also called as ligamentum flava. Ligamentum flava. Okay. Interarcuate ligament or the ligamentum flava between the arches. Interspinous ligaments name indicates. Okay. Between the spinous processes of the vertebra. So by this time you have already studied which was the spinous process or the transverse process. Interspinous means between the spinous process. And intertransverse means it is between the transverse process of the adjacent vertebra. Clear? So how many short ligaments you will find? 3. Okay. Interarcuate ligament between the arches of the vertebra, also called as ligamentum flava. Intertransverse ligament between the transverse process of the vertebra and the spinous ligaments between the spinous process of the vertebra. These are the 3 short ligaments. They are almost similar in all the species. Of course, the nature of the tissues maybe varies. Maybe somewhere it is elastic tissue you will find, some species you may find the fibrous tissues. Clear? The second categories of the ligaments. The second categories of the ligament is the long ligaments. Long ligaments. So long ligaments you will find broadly, you see there are again 3 long ligaments. One is called as dorsal longitudinal ligaments, ventral longitudinal ligaments, and the nuchal ligaments. So what is dorsal longitudinal ligament? You remember the vertebral bodies, is not these bodies of the vertebra. You remember the vertebral canal. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So dorsal longitudinal ligaments means it will travel on the dorsal ridge of the vertebral bodies, on the dorsal aspect of the vertebral bodies. Okay. So there is a dorsal longitudinal ligament. Start from the atlas to the sacrum. Then you will find a ventral longitudinal ligaments on the ventral aspect or the ventral surface of the vertebral bodies. You know the bodies of the vertebra. Clear? So these are the 2 dorsal and the ventral longitudinal ligaments, and they will be connected with the dorsal aspect of the. They will be connected, means they will be in touch with the intervertebral disc. Okay, and the edges of the vertebral bodies. So you know what is the intervertebral disc. So what is the intervertebral disc? I am coming after some time. So then what is called the third long ligament is the what is called the ligamentum nuchae or the nuchal ligament, which is very important. Clear? So 2 categories of the ligament. One is short, another is long. Short ligament of 3 types: interarcuate, interspinous, intertransverse. Long ligaments 3 types: dorsal longitudinal, ventral longitudinal, and the slide you have seen ligamentum nuchae or simply the nuchal ligaments. Ligamentum nuchae or what is called nuchal ligaments. So these ligament, the nuchal ligament is varies, but originally it originates mainly from the external occipital protuberance. Have you seen here? What is this point? It is visible. What is the name of this point? Hello?
Occipital protuberance.
Pardon?
External
Occipital bone. What is the name of this point? External occipital protuberance. External occipital protuberance. Clear? External occipital protuberance. So this ligamentum nuchae, it originates from the external occipital protuberance. Okay? As well as in case of dog, from the spinous process of the axis, and then it goes mainly to the spinous process of the first thoracic spine. This is its extent. So this ligamentum nuchae or the nuchal ligament originate from the external occipital protuberance or the spinous process of exists in case of dog, and it goes to the spinous process of the first thoracic vertebra. Beyond that, it goes up to the sacrum as the supraspinous ligament. From here, you see the next color, you will find this is the same structure, but from here, second thoracic vertebra to the sacrum, it will be known as the supraspinous ligament. Clear? So this is about the ligamentum nuchae, and this ligamentum nuchae is having two parts. One is called as laminar part, another is called as funicular part. So the funicular part, it originates from external occipital protuberance, okay, as well as the spinous process of the first, second, and the third cervical vertebra. Then it goes and enters or inserted into the first thoracic spine. The laminar part, the caudal part, means laminar part, posterior area. So it mainly originates from the spinous process of the fifth, sixth, and seventh, okay, cervical vertebra, and it will insert it again to the first thoracic spine. And this laminar part is again, there is a cranial part and caudal part. The laminar part. Okay, so these are the two parts of the ligamentum nuchae, the funicular part and the laminar part. You can see in the horses, okay, funicular part and the laminar part. So this is the funicular part is coming from the external occipital protuberance, the first thoracic spine. Okay, then the laminar part is coming from the fourth, fifth, and the sixth cervical vertebra is coming and goes to the first thoracic spine. So it mainly insertion point is at the first thoracic spine. And beyond the first thoracic spine, the same ligament will continue up to the sacrum, and it will be known as the supraspinous ligament. Supraspinous ligament. So here you see the origin in the horse. Okay, sorry, in the ox, you can see this is the funicular part and the laminar part. Nuchal ligament. See in the horse, this is the funicular part and then the lamellar part. Both the funicular and the lamellar part, both the funicular and lamellar part, they will be inserted into the first thoracic spine. First thoracic spine, and from first thoracic spine to the sacrum, it will be continued as the what is called supraspinous ligament in all the species. Okay. So in case of dog, you will find that it is originate from the axis. It will not originate from the external occipital protuberance. Clear? In case of dog. And pig do not have the ligamentum nuchae. Pig do not have the ligamentum nuchae. Do you have any point here?
No, sir.
Just a minute. So this is about the ligamentum nuchae. Okay. Then, yeah. So this is about the ligaments of the head and neck. So the short ligaments and the long ligaments. 3 types of short ligaments and 3 types of long ligaments. Out of that, this is very much important. The ligamentum nuchae or the nuchal ligaments. We must remember. So in animals, it originates from the external occipital protuberance, and in dog, it originates from the what is called the spinous process of the axis, not from the external occipital protuberance. And then regarding the articulation between the vertebra. So if you remember where you were here, we have discussed that there is no synovial articulation between the adjacent vertebra except the first 2 vertebrae. It's not it. The first 2 vertebrae, especially the atlas and the occipital bones, you will find a synovial articulation. Between the atlas and the occipital bone, you will find atlanto-occipital articulation, and between atlas and axis, you will find the synovial articulations. That is atlanto-axial pivot joints and atlanto-occipital ellipsoidal joints. Okay, and beyond the second cervical vertebra onwards, that means the axis onwards, there is no synovial joints. But how they are united each other, the vertebra? So they are united by means of the, what is the structure between the bodies of the vertebra?
The cartilage.
Intervertebral disc. Intervertebral disc. Okay. So between the adjacent vertebra, except the first and second, from second onwards to the sacrum or as well as the coccygeal vertebra, you will find that there is presence of the intervertebral disc between the bodies of the vertebra. And this intervertebral disc is having 2 parts. One is central part, another is peripheral part. So central part is known as pulpy nucleus or nucleus pulposus. And the peripheral part is known as the annulus fibrosus. Very simple. So between the bodies of the adjacent vertebra, there is presence of intervertebral disc, which is the fibrocartilaginous structure. Between the bodies of the adjacent vertebra, there is presence of intervertebral disc, and that is present beyond the second cervical vertebra, not before second cervical, because before second cervical, there you will find the typical synovial joints. So just behind the second cervical up to the coccygeal, you will find between the bodies of adjacent vertebra intervertebral disc. This intervertebral disc consists of 2 parts. One is central part called as nucleus pulposus, another is called as peripheral part, that is named as annulus fibrosus. The nucleus pulposus act as a cushion like water cushions. They will try to equalize the pressure on the bones throughout the periphery. That is a function of the nucleus pulposus. Clear? Then you just see all these vertebrae. All the vertebrae are individual vertebrae. Same you can see the sacrum. So sacrum is a fused segment. Why? The fusion is possible because you will find there is a fusion of the bodies of the each sacral segments. The bodies of each sacral segments, they fuse during development. Clear? Because that is important from biomechanical point of view to exert the pressures. As well as the arches of the each sacral segment also fuse. Reduce the rigid sacrum, the single piece of sacrum, the rigid sacrum. So rigid sacrum is possible due to the fusion of the arches of the vertebra, the spinous process of the vertebra, as well as the bodies of the adjacent sacral vertebra. And that gives rise to the fusion or a rigid piece, a single piece of sacrum in the animals, which is important for biomechanical points of view. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
today there is some problem with the, what is called, sorry, WhatsApp web. Oh, it is coming up. Just a minute. So do you have any point here? Okay. In that case, we'll meet at 1 p.m. Okay, for a common class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
I am sending
you,
it what we have discussed. I am sending it in the group. Okay.
Okay, sir.